Joho, was geht ab? Hoffentlich laggt das jetzt nicht mehr. Also wegen den Stream-Lags, also bei mir ist wirklich gar nichts. 6500 Kilobytes die Sekunde am Stream plus 0, also CPU-Auslastung, okay, die ist gerade hoch, 20%, was geht denn hier ab? Wieso 20% CPU-Auslastung? Hä? OP oder OBS? Desktop, keine Ahnung, wieso die so hoch ist. Wirklich keine Ahnung, wieso das so hoch ist. Mit der CPU-Auslastung und so. Weiß ich nicht. Keine Ahnung. Naja, auf jeden Fall passt eigentlich alles. Dürfte eigentlich. Müsste eigentlich alles passen. Ja, was geht? Okay, ja. Air Mac ist schon teuer, ne? Only 20 left. Ja, Bruder, was für Only 20 left? Es gibt den nicht mal meiner Größe. Was für Only 20 left?
1.0. First self-lacing sneaker to really be on the market. Where could this go wrong? Well, the price point was $720, first of all, and that's a pretty big chunk of change, obviously, for sneaker people. But the other part of it that I found out after I got a pair of them and then wore
Die waren
them
scheiße
and
wahrscheinlich.
realized these are not comfortable. Like it was not a comfortable pair of sneakers at all. So that wasn't the desired result.
Kojoten
The other thing is when you
würden
put the shoe
Beine
on, the
abkauen
laces are
für
a little
solche
bit loose.
Preise.
Then you have to use an app, or you can use the button on the side of the shoe and actually
Kann gut
tighten the
sein.
laces. But it
Jetzt
went
kein
from like
Delay mehr
loose
da.
to snug.
Ja,
Like, it
dachte ich
worked,
mir
but it
schon.
wasn't like having really loose
Okay.
laces and then putting them
Keine
on. I
Ahnung,
don't know how
liegt
to
wahrscheinlich
describe it.
irgendwie
It
auch
just
an
was not
Twitch.
as
Kann
glorious
sein,
as we thought it would
dass
be.
an
At
Twitch
the end of
liegt.
the
Ich
day, I
weiß
still
nicht.
really like
Woran
what
das
they
daran,
delivered. They've actually
davor
had 4
gelegen
different
hat.
versions
Bei mir war
released
hier
with
alles
the
super.
Adapt technology. The first one was the HyperAdapt 1.0. The second one was the Nike Adapt BB, the basketball
Aber
version,
Digga,
which actually
Bruder, Nike Adapt mit diesem Self-Lacing, klar, cool, aber die sehen auch scheiße aus, meiner Meinung nach. Sieht scheiße aus einfach. Und dafür 700 Euro? Ja, gehen wir mal zum nächsten Schuh.
technologies that I was super excited that I got a pair of
Nike
them.
Joyride,
And
kenne
then
ich auch
after I
nicht.
got them, I was like, wait a minute.
Da
This is
sind Perlen
not.
drin.
It could be good. Felt kind of fun, but definitely brought some joy, but then it sparked other things other than joy, which really is why I think that they were probably pulled off the market only 3 years later. So in 2019, Nike said, why beads? They're soft, they're bouncy, and they form the core of an innovative new cushioning system designed to help make all the ways you move feel easy.
Aber die kenne ich. Ich kenne
This
so
concept
Schuhe, die
looked really
sowas
cool,
hatten.
but after trying these on, I realized the shelf life of the Joyride would be really short-lived. And it appears I was right. As I mentioned, 3 years later, it's gone. They had 2 major flaws for the consumer. Number one, yes, the super teeny tiny TPU-like pellets that were very soft and springy were very soft and springy. However, if you wore your pair all the way to the bone through the outsole of the shoe, those little beads are now
Bin
exposed
gespannt.
and they're just going to blow out the back of the
Ach, die
shoe.
sind
And you're
explodiert.
going to have kind of a biohazard sort of situation with that. And I think about that, I'm like, can you imagine a kid in the classroom walking in and then
Und der Schuh
having the
explodiert.
Joyride beads fall out of his shoe? He'd be scarred for life. The beads would be bouncing and spraying everywhere. It'd be terrible. But anyway, that's the first reason. The second one, which is more
Lachkick, es ist einfach explodiert. Und
of
die
a
springen
flaw
dann so
in the way
rum.
that they created it. They could fix it, but it's more of a flaw in the way they created it. And that's the top of the footbed was not waterproof. So if you step in water while
Ah,
you're
das ist
wearing the
auch
sneakers,
scheiße.
you'll see that the beads are now full of water. And if you remove
Bruder,
them
wieso
from
hat
the
der auch
water and
schwarze
you dump
Farbe
the shoe
genommen?
out, the water's still there. It's
Weil
like
damit man es
trapped
wahrscheinlich
in the
sieht.
shoe. You can't really get it out. Feels
Das
like
ist
it
ja
could be like a
scheiße.
biohazard for your foot as well. Just mold growing inside of your like
Okay, das
just
ist
various
scheiße.
beads. It just felt a little bit weird why they didn't like create something so it would repel water. At the end of the day, they could actually update this technology and re-release it and fix those things potentially, but honestly, I just don't see it happening. It seems to be
Nee,
like a
unnötig.
fun
Es gibt
idea,
andere
sparked a
Technologien.
lot of buzz originally, and then it just
Aber
kind of
so als
went away.
Basketballschuh
I
oder
think that
generell als
Nike's okay
Hallenschuh
though. They're
könnte ich
going
mir
to be
die
just
gut schon
fine with any
vorstellen.
of these
Wenn
failures
du irgendwo in der
because
Halle
they have
bist und damit
massive
Sport
successes
machst,
on their hands.
wenn
With
die
Nike,
anscheinend gemütlich sind, einen guten Bounce gibt, Game außer, dass es halt explodiert. Aber dann hast du auch sowas Gutes. Du handicapst die anderen damit. Du
we had
handicapst die anderen
technology,
damit.
Nike Air, which is the old one, Nike Air Zoom, which is in all of the prominent like sports shoes,
Ja.
and then Nike Zoom X for the running sneakers as well. Obviously, they have a plethora of different technologies that is very, very successful. So some of them come and some of them go. At the end of the day, they're always evolving and creating new technology. And
Das
that's
ist halt
something
so.
that I give kudos to Nike for because they're always innovating, always innovating, and it's fun to see the innovations.
Gutes Video.
Jojo,
Haben wir
was
das hier
geht
schon
ab, Gang?
gesehen?
Jonas hier am Start für euch.
Auch
Erinnert ihr euch noch
Moneyboy.
an
Haben
den
wir das hier schon
grandiosen
gesehen?
Launch von
Das hier, Metaverse.
Facebook hat sich umbenannt. Die Firma ist jetzt mehr als Social Media. Sie
Meta.
konzentriert sich auf das Metaverse. 2BG News hat damals berichtet.
Glaub schon, ich glaube auch, das haben wir schon gesehen, das Metaverse.
Und wenn man von so einem CNBC voller Kids.
Das
sind
haben wir
halt
schon
die
gesehen.
Ersten, die dem Ganzen
100%, das haben wir schon gesehen. Und das hier, Cartoons we
Cartoons
never
are
made.
not for children.
Ja,
Okay,
das
for
können wir
like
uns mal
4 years they were
reinziehen.
almost
Cartoons never made for kids, das gönnen wir uns. Und
exclusively
danach
for kids,
müsste es, glaube
but
ich,
they
schon
weren't
fast eins
originally
sein.
created for them. Some of the most successful and iconic
Ja, Ren
animations of the
Stimpy,
past 30 years
legendär.
were specifically designed for adults. And aside from a few iconic Disney creations, it's safe to say cartoons are more enjoyable when they are constructed for older audiences. Today I'm going to take you all on a nostalgia trip, covering adult cartoons from their inception in the 1920s all the way to the crowning point of Adult Swim, the mecca
Legendär.
of adult animations. Drink water. In the 1920s, Hollywood
Drink
was
water, ihr habt ihn
booming,
gehört.
producing an
Stay
average of
hydrated.
800 feature films per year. There were some cartoons, but they were still in early development. The few cartoons that were made in the 20s were shown at cinemas before a feature film. They were essentially short films with no dialogue, just music and sound
Ist doch
effects.
geil.
It was also in the 1920s where there was a big push for harsher censorship in films and theatrical performances. The Supreme Court ruled in 1915 that free speech did not extend into motion pictures. A lot
Hier,
of films,
take
such
die,
as the
die's
ones
neu. Ich hab
performed
meine
at the New
gerade
York
ausgetrunken,
stage,
nimm die
had
Flasche
mature
hier.
content, nudity, cursing, and adult subject matter. It was like the Wild West with no rules and regulations. In 1927, there was a censorship committee formed by Will Hayes, a Republican politician, to propose some do's and don'ts in the film industry. It took a while for these suggestions to become an actual enforced code, known as Hayes Code, and in the meantime,
Wieso hat der hier
cartoons would
eigentlich
take advantage of
Mozart-Musik
the
drin?
minimal
Von wem ist das?
regulations.
Ich glaube, das ist nämlich Copyright striked. Wow, was geht hier ab? Hentai oder was?
This was known as the pre-code era. Betty Boop. She was a caricature of the 1930s flapper, a woman with more love to give than knowledge to share, typically depicted as being innocent yet scandalous. She had a baby face but the body of a grown woman. Many of these early productions were heavily sexualizing Betty and other animated women. Some of these straight up glamorizing.
Do you like your job?
Bro, was geht hier ab?
Well, I think if I were you, I'd go somewhere. You better come out with me tonight. Have some dinner.
They pretty
Bam.
much depicted every way possible a woman's dress could get removed from
Leck
her
mich
body.
am Arsch,
Betty
Digga.
exploded in popularity. However, with the enforcement of Hays Code in 1934, the animation studio was required to button up Betty's image. She went from being
Digga,
a
heutzutage
free-spirit
wird das
flapper
instant
to a
gecancelt werden.
housewife/career girl who wore fuller dresses. Her curls got straightened out, her earrings got smaller, and she slowly became more mature. She even smelled different. Okay, we
Was?
don't know how she smelled, but I think we can all agree smelling good is feeling good, which is why Scentbird is a necessary service for you. Scentbird is a fragrance subscription service with over 600 ability to out a different. I went with the Chris
Mercedes-Benz.
month just revolved around themes that were now banned by the code, so creators had to try and entertain the adult audiences inconspicuously through their children's shows. Animated shorts hit new strides in the 30s, with the creation of Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Snow White. These
bin so ein
animations were
Mickey.
good enough to captivate audiences for extended periods of time. In the 40s, there was Bugs Bunny, Tom and
Legendär.
Jerry, Bambi. They were definitely designed for children, but parents could watch and be entertained. Storylines were basic, most of the humor
Looney
came from
Tunes so
silly
nice.
faces, characters getting hurt, and just basic tropes that would make kids laugh. In
Oder El
1949, the first
Dorado.
animated television series was
eine
launched called
Szene.
Crusader Rabbit. Gumby in the
Ist
50s was a
ausgewachsen. Ich kenn leider El
groundbreaking
Dorado
new
nicht.
animation style, but most of the 50s
Aber
was
vielleicht kommt das ja
dominated
gleich
by the
noch.
same kid-friendly animations from the 40s. Television sales were exploding in popularity, but animated series were not regularly programmed yet. You had experimental 5-minute episodes programmed by various stations at different times. Popeye being one of the more famous ones and was pretty much adult targeted, leaning into relatable
Popeye
humor,
Legende.
the best kind. That was a joke. Focused on the working class man and relating to his struggles. Like, wow, the pipe broke on this sink. Oh my god, I hate when that happens. There was a massive shift in the 60s. The birth of Hanna-Barbera animations. Basically every American household has a TV now. You had the Flintstones, the Jetsons, Pink Panther, Scooby-Doo, Spider-Man,
Pinke
Hulk,
Panther ist
so
geil.
many more. Regularly scheduled cartoons enjoyed by millions so you don't have to go to
Nice.
the cinema to see animation. There was more variety, better writing,
Weg nach El
still leaning
Dorado,
into the
genau.
working class man and
Sagt
the
mir leider gar
modern
nichts, ich
family.
muss das
But the colors were
sehen.
brighter, the scenes and animation were more imaginative.
Gönnen wir uns
TVs
das mal, der Weg nach El Dorado. Ah, Kenne ich. Kenne ich. Habe ich auch ein paar Kassetten am Start. In meiner Videosammlung kenne ich Eldorado.
In general were
Kenn
more
ich, kenn ich,
creative and
kenn ich.
fun. Most of these cartoons were still family friendly, designed for
Aber
children,
lang nicht mehr
yet
geguckt.
really enjoyable for
Extremst lang
adults
nicht
to
mehr
watch as
geguckt.
well. The 70s was the birth of Nickelodeon. However, the mid-70s to
70s kam schon
mid-80s would be the
Nickelodeon.
weakest era for new cartoons. The 70s were carried by shows that were started in the 60s. Critics, whoever they are, say the golden age of animation ended in 1972. Obviously, everyone born in the
Laugh kick.
70s or later would say that's cap, but many of the
That's
most
cap.
critically acclaimed, financially successful, and culturally significant animated films and cartoons were released from the 20s to the
Aber
early
das stimmt.
70s.
Stimmt, wenn die das so sagen. Scooby-Doo kennt man. Ich wusste gar nicht, dass es schon so alt ist. Mickey Mouse kennt man. Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny kennt man. Ja.
However, they had significantly less
Flintstones kennt
variety
man.
and less competition, so it's a lot
Ja.
easier for those cartoons
Außer
to
Ausnahmen
have a
kennt man
bigger
schon eher
impact.
die alten.
These old
Das
cartoons
stimmt
were
schon
considered to
irgendwie.
be more lifelike, emotionally relatable, and contained valuable lessons. But a lot of adults may argue that cartoons are not a place where they want to learn life lessons, and rather escape into a creative and complex alternate reality. Not to remind them how
Vielleicht am
much their
Wochenende
boring
wieder
life
einmal
is just like
ein
this boring
Filmeabend.
cartoon. To no
Safe, wieso
surprise,
nicht?
cartoon ratings
Können
were
wir mal wieder
plummeting,
machen.
resulting in budget
Safe.
cuts and then the release of low-budget animations that didn't have a lasting impact. The 1980s, you had the birth of the Disney Channel. Shows like The Smurfs, Thomas the Tank Engine, and Alvin and the Chipmunks were hits for children. But the late 80s felt like
The
cartoons
Smurfs,
were catering
Dicker.
to their teenage and adult audiences a lot
Die
more. At
Schlümpfe
this point,
einfach.
for almost
Heftig.
40 years, cartoons were
Dance
perceived
with
to
the
be for children
Smurfs.
and
Auch
almost
zurück in
exclusively
diese
designed
South
for
Park
children.
Folge.
Like it started out exclusively for adults, then
mit
immediately
den
did a 180 for
Schlümpfen tanzt.
kids, and was slowly building towards being designed for adults again. Teens were waking up in the morning, eating cereal, watching tunes, and chilling on the couch after school, watching tunes.
Chillin'.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Transformers, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, Thundercats,
Okay, die
RoboCop.
kennt
These
man.
were designed more so for teenagers and opened up a lot more opportunities for advanced animation, more action, and more
Habe ich
advanced
sogar
storylines.
davon, von diesen Transformers, von diesen Cartoon-Transformers, habe ich auch so viele. Also es sind, glaube ich, sogar Anime, weil die halt in Japan produziert wurden. Davon habe ich so viele DVDs und so. Ich habe das so gefeiert als
That could be
Kind.
understood, not just ha-ha bonk on the head humor. There were a plethora of new shows being premiered only to be discontinued after a season or so. The scenes were more imaginative and immersive. Unfortunately, a lot of the shows didn't stick or become as culturally long-lasting as
Also
shows
wirklich
made in the
Kind.
90s.
Da hatte ich kein
But in
Internet und so.
1989, something big happened.
Kleines
a cartoon
Babykind.
written and designed for adults without being racist or overly sexual. The Simpsons. The Simpsons is not written for kids, it's written for adults. Was said by Matt Groening, who created the show. Matt was a visionary. He knew that the mainstream audience wanted and needed an adult-oriented cartoon show, so he made it happen. Homer Simpson and Marge Simpson are married with 3 children, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. They live in the middle America town of Springfield. It was an animated sitcom without the laugh track, leaning into a classic sitcom
Dun, dun,
storyline, the average American family. Breakfast in the morning, conflict in the day, resolution at night. It was as basic as it gets in terms of understanding the general plot. Just watch the first episode and you have almost all the background information needed to watch the next 32 seasons. Although it was basic in nature, every episode was a new day and the creative possibilities were endless. Homer would overreact, get in ridiculous situations, and handle them how basically nobody would handle them.
How about that rain check for last night?
Ist er nicht.
Don't look at me! Freak!
The animation style stood out from the rest immediately. They were all yellow, they all had extremely unique features like huge mouths and weird-shaped heads. The show was carried by the extensive array of wacky side
Legendär.
characters, all that have memorable characteristics and are voiced by unique and talented actors. The most successful primetime cartoon in history at this point. The Simpsons Season 1 in 1990 averaged a whopping 27 million viewers per
Mashallah.
episode. The
Heftig.
Simpsons proved that a cartoon designed just for adults can not only be successful, but be the most successful. Liquid
Aber ich
Television,
feiere das gar
produced
nicht so
by
sehr, die
MTV and released in
Simpsons.
1991. It was a compilation of animated shorts by independent artists. They were pushing the boundaries of animation, and all of it was catered
MTV
to
hier
adults. It
müssen
was like this
geile
little
kommen,
secret
die ich auch
network
richtig
within a
feiere.
network that only a few knew about, which sounds familiar. This was the birth of Beavis and Butthead,
War
which was a
scheiße.
crude, humored show about 2 dumbasses who couldn't do anything right.
We tricked him. He's probably like, there's nobody here.
And were obsessed with the idea of getting
Digga,
laid.
das war
Ladies
so
beware.
scheiße.
Sure, it only lasted a few seasons, but it is culturally iconic. At the time, this was groundbreaking in terms of what comedy and adult cartoons could be.
primarily children watch cartoons, but adults watch cartoons too.
As well.
In fact,
Und das,
in the evening, on the average evening, more adults are tuned to the Cartoon Network
Ja.
than tuned to CNN.
That was Ted Turner, creator of the iconic Cartoon Network.
Boah,
Ted was a
legendär.
visionary who knew how badly the world needed cartoons. His strategy started with buying the rights to every cartoon ever made. Sounds like an
Boah.
overstatement, but let me break it down. Ted founded CNN, the very first 24-hour news network in 1980. One
Okay,
year later, he
mashallah, der
purchased
Typ ist ein
MGM
Macher.
Studios and United Artists for $1.5 billion, in which he sold a portion to cut down on the debt. He
Das
remained
ist ein
with
Macher.
MGM's pre-1986 library, which included thousands of films, but more importantly, a ton of classic cartoons. Looney Tunes,
Boah, sowas
Merry
von ein
Melodies,
Macher. Der ist
Popeye,
wirklich
the list
heftig.
goes on. In 1991, he purchased almost all of Hanna-Barbera Productions' catalog, which included the Flintstones, Scooby-Doo, the Jetsons, and many, many more. Basically, Ted now
Deswegen
owned the
verbinde
right
ich das alles auch mit Cartoon Network. Wenn er das alles damals schon aufgekauft hat, deswegen sind das alles für mich so neuere Cartoon Network
to
Sachen.
every
Okay.
popular cartoon made in
Kein
the
Ding.
last 60
Der Typ
years
hat auf jeden
that
Fall schon den
wasn't made by
Durchblick.
Disney. And with that, he started the first
Fuck
ever
Disney.
24-hour
Wirklich, fuck
network
Disney.
dedicated to strictly cartoons.
Wobei Disney
The
auch ganz
Cartoon
geil
Network
ist.
did not explode in popularity right away. It was a bunch of reruns of old shows acting as a little nostalgia kick for older folks. This ultimately was a genius strategy because imagine trying to start a 24-hour network with 0 shows that people knew. It would be impossible to get off the ground.
Facts.
So the network started with only old shows and got to work producing originals. Just when you think TV is going to be taken over by all adult animations, we got another renaissance of children's cartoons on
Boah, was denn
Nickelodeon.
das?
Doug, Rugrats, Ren and
Legendär,
Stimpy, Rocko's
legendär,
Modern Life,
legendär.
Kablam,
Wobei-
Ah Real Monsters.
Nicht so geil. Okay. Legendär. War okay. Was ist das? Habe ich, glaube ich, noch nie geguckt, Monster. Also ich kann mich daran gar nicht erinnern. Vielleicht 1, 2 Folgen, aber daran kann ich mich leider sehr schlecht erinnern.
Hey Arnold. Nickelodeon
Fand ich nicht so geil. Habe ich jetzt auch letztens wieder geguckt. Oder was ist letztens, als ich halt diesen Pluto-Hype hatte. Als ich wieder jeden Abend Cartoons so geguckt habe auf diesem Pluto-TV. Bro, hey, Arnold habe ich damals nicht gefeiert, feiere ich immer noch nicht.
was the go-to place for children's cartoons, even though some of these early cartoons were
Aber Ren ist
barely for
wirklich legendär.
kids. While Disney was producing the perfect imagination land where everything is happy and nice, Nickelodeon was bringing totally original animation
Das war
styles,
geil.
grim
Also,
scenery, and
Roccos
taking
modernes
creative
Leben kann man
risks.
sich geben.
Cartoon Network slowed down on airing old shows in 1996, and they were ready to roll out their originals. Dexter's
Bro,
Laboratory,
Ed,
Johnny
geil.
Bravo, Cow and Chicken,
Geil.
Ed, Edd and Eddy,
Kenn ich
Courage the
nicht.
Cowardly
Ed, Edd and
Dog.
Eddy, geil.
It's safe to say
Ich glaube, den habe ich auch noch nie geguckt, den hier. Wie ist das nochmal? Also Dexter geil.
Laboratory, Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog. It's safe to
Courage
say in the
noch nie
90s,
in meinem
the
Leben
line
gehört, aber
between what cartoons
kennt
are for
man.
adults and what cartoons are for children is very blurry. It could be because the censorship that was enforced in the 30s wasn't really challenged for 50 years or so when The Simpsons came out. I'm not saying that the 90s cartoons were edgy, but they were a little darker, more intrepid, more intense, and
Gott,
overall
Digga,
more
was denn
adult
das?
appealing. The 90s in general were a little darker and rebellious towards the 80s, where everything was seen as loud, colorful, and glamorous. Counterculture became cool, grunge music and gangster rap became popular.
Yes,
so cartoons
sir.
really blended in
So
with the
muss das
aesthetic
sein.
of the culture. We are
Chicken
going
Dog,
to be
so
different.
Ren
So let's be
Stimpy
cool
versteht. Ja,
and
hab ich noch nie
reserved
in meinem
and
Leben
do
gesehen.
exactly the opposite of what the 80s would do. South Park, 1997. The first episode
Absolut
was
legendär.
crass, in-your-face humor.
Auch wenn du das nicht magst, ich weiß das, aber ich liebe South Park so sehr. So geil.
Go home, you little dildo. Dude, don't call my brother a dildo. What's a dildo?
This show was not for kids, which is funny because it's a bunch of 4th graders. At this point, The Simpsons proved you can make fun of pop culture, make fun of politics, make edgy, rude jokes while entertaining millions of people and creating a 9-figure worth show. South Park is not unique in its use of satirical humor, but it is one of the most effective satires due to its production format. The scripts for episodes are not written before the season begins, but the production of
Right.
an episode begins on a Thursday with the creators, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, and the show's writers brainstorming ideas for the episode. The script will be written, animated, and voiced for release on Wednesday nights. Just
Was?
6 days of work. We work
WTF.
between 100 and 120 hours in a 7-day week to deliver the episodes. This hectic production allows South Park to be in the zeitgeist of pop culture while it is
Aber das ist
happening.
auch
For
scheiße,
example,
what the
in the
fuck?
season 4 episode Quintuplets 2000, the show nearly does a 1-to-1 recreation of a famous photo of a U.S. Border Patrol raid during the
Aber das
Elian
kenn ich.
Gonzalez affair,
Ja.
an event that occurred 4 days before the show aired.
Okay,
The
ist
season
heftig.
7 episode It's
Ja, gut.
Christmas in Canada
Ja gut, so ist es natürlich geil, wenn man so schnell diese popkulturellen Einblick hat. Das ist ja auch bei South Park so, ne? Das ist halt auch sehr schnell halt theoretisch nicht mehr aktuell sein könnte. Aber das ist halt dann noch geil, weil man das dann halt mäßig so als zeitliche Auffassung oder so nehmen kann innerhalb einer Woche Folge. Das ist wirklich heftig. Also das haben die, glaube ich, aber auch nicht lange gemacht. Das kann ich mir nicht vorstellen.
References the discovery and capture of Saddam Hussein, which happened 3 days before the episode aired. Season
Krasser
12's
Scheiß,
About
okay.
Last Night revolves around Barack Obama's presidential victory, which happened less than 24 hours before the episode aired.
Okay, krass. Das haben die doch alles so. Okay, das ist heftig. Das hat bis 12 Staffeln haben die das so gemacht.
On the surface, the show
What the
appeals to
fuck?
almost any age group, but the news-like coverage
Das ist
of
wirklich
more
krass.
serious current events is certainly appealing to an
Doch,
adult
die haben immer
audience.
so
South Park
durchgezogen.
has won 5
Ja, aber deswegen kein Wunder, dass ich ja noch die deutsche Version immer geiler finde, weil wenn die das in einer Woche auch synchronisiert haben, dieser eine Matt Parker spricht ja irgendwie Eric und Stan und der andere spricht irgendwie Kenny und den anderen. Das sind ja wirklich nur die beiden, oder das sind wirklich nur 5, 6 Leute, die dort Synchronstimmen halt haben. Kein Wunder, dass ich das dann so scheiße finde. Wenn jede Person halt immer von derselben Person gesprochen wird in Real Life, ist ich meine. Kein Wunder, dass ich das dann persönlich so scheiße finde.
Primetime Emmy Awards as well as the prestigious Peabody
Deswegen
Award,
meine
which
vielen
honors excellence in storytelling that
Verfechter
reflects
South
the
Park so
social issues and the
gesellschaftskritisch.
emerging voices
Ja.
of our day. South Park remains one of Comedy Central's highest rated programs, and in 2021 was renewed through 2027. 2 years after South Park came Family Guy, another soon-to-be iconic
geil.
adult animated series, focused on a New England family, which was reminiscent of The Simpsons with a moronic father, stay-at-home wife, and of course, the 3 kids. The first episode aired on Fox immediately after Super Bowl 33 to 22
Oha,
million viewers.
geil.
Season 1 maintained high viewership, but would dwindle through the second and third seasons. Following the third season's declining viewership, Fox decided to cancel the show in 2002. Hard to imagine a time where Family Guy wasn't totally loved. Maybe it was just too similar to The Simpsons? This wasn't the end of the Griffins. There would be a savior coming to their rescue. The 2000s, a new century. This meant change. Changing back into kid-friendly cartoons? Again? Nickelodeon started drifting from the grim,
Ja,
dark
so
cartoons to more companionable and
Wenn jetzt
kid-friendly
SpongeBob
with the
kommt.
additions of SpongeBob,
Digga,
Fairly
aber
Odd
SpongeBob
Parents,
auch
The Wild
legendär.
Thornberrys, Rocket Power, Jimmy Neutron. They still had
Geil. Die ersten Staffeln waren auch geil. Worüber noch nie in meinem Leben, also ich kenne den, aber ich glaube, ich habe das noch nie gesehen. Rocket Power ist okay. Und ich habe das als Kind sich gefeiert. War so scheiße, Digga. Also manche Folgen waren so hardcore scheiße von Jimmy Neutron. Und Invader Zim ist auch ganz nice.
Invader Zim, Cat Dog, and Danny Phantom. Disney
Ja, kann man sich immer noch reinziehen. Niemand sieht ihn.
Channel was even more kid-friendly. Cartoon Network was kind of the place where the cool teenagers indulge, but it was spiraling down pretty fast. The network had a new CEO when the company was merged
Der
with
fällt
Time
ihm auch
Warner
fresh,
AOL.
ja, Mann.
New ownership and new leadership will lead to changes.
Aber das Ende
All
ist
of
ein
their
bisschen
iconic
scheiße
shows like
gewesen, fand
Dexter's
ich.
Lab, Johnny Bravo, and Courage were getting canceled. They rebranded, launched a few new shows that are beloved today, but
Heftig.
weren't necessarily hits at the time. Codename Kid Next Door, Billy and Mandy, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Kenn ich alle.
These shows were a little bit
Die beiden kenne ich nicht, aber das ist ultra trash. Das ist ultra, ultra trash. Als Kind habe ich das schon nicht gemocht. Ey, als Kind mochte ich das schon nicht. Das war so scheiße.
softer compared to previous Cartoon Network originals and were loved by children, but not teenagers.
Aber die
and adults.
rothaarige, boah, war die heftig. Tschüss, war die krass. Wer war das nochmal? Es war nicht seine Schwester, das war. Der hat ja in diesem Haus gewohnt. Wer war das? War das die Eigentümerin vom Haus oder so?
So
Die
there
war
was a
aber
gap in the
heftig.
market. There wasn't
Die war
a go-to
heftig.
place where
Wenn ich
adults
geguckt
could
habe, immer
escape
nur wegen
into
ihr.
an animated universe and not have to
Immer nur
worry
wegen der
about
Rothaarigen
censorship and
eingeschaltet.
juvenile humor. Until 2001 with the birth of Adult Swim, the very first animated network designed specifically for adults.
Dun, dun. Geil.
The branding was clever. All kids out of the pool, because now it was time for the adults to
All
have some fun
kids
without
out
all
of
the
the pool.
childishness. The
Wie
shows
geil.
often had a more mature sentiment, coarse language, and sexual innuendos. The Adult Swim programming block launched just 2 nights a week, with one of those being just a repeat of the other. Original series would be aired such as Aqua Teen Hunger Force, The Brack Show, Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Sea Lab 2021, and
Kenn
more.
leider gar
Adult
nichts
Swim
davon.
kinda had a cheat code to launch the network. Since Ted Turner purchased the Hanna-Barbera catalog in the 90s, they were able to use classic cartoons such as Scooby-Doo in new shows like Harvey Birdman. This may not seem like a big deal, but having the rights to a classic cartoon and being able to tell a new story around those 50-year-old characters is a huge advantage to gaining new viewership. Imagine your dad flipping through the channels and seeing Yogi Bear on the witness stand. He would
Yogi
be
Bear ist
confused
legendär,
but
wirklich.
interested to
Der
see
gute
one of
Yogi
his
Bear.
childhood cartoons be reimagined. Adult Swim could arguably get the credit for introducing Americans to anime, broadcasting popular
Nice,
shows like
Digga.
Cowboy Bebop
Cowboy
and Mobile
Bebop.
Suit Gundam. By late 2002, the network
wack.
was becoming more interested in obtaining
Yogi
the
Bear,
rights
kennst
to
du nicht den
animated
Yogi Bär?
series that had been canceled.
ist so
Again,
lustig
knowing how
gewesen.
hard it is to make new cartoons and get
Der war
a
halt
new
immer so
audience
trocken.
when you can just capture an already existing audience. One of the first and more notable of these was Futurama,
Schmutzi.
which they
Mochte ich
obtained
gar
the rights
nicht.
to reruns for a reported $10 million.
So
Jim
eine
Samples,
Schmutzserie.
Cartoon Network's executive VP, said, "Futurama reruns will take our Adult Swim programming to a whole different level." Adult Swim would come to the rescue for another show, which would become a pivotal moment for both
Kenn
the
ich nicht.
network and the series. Family Guy. 3 seasons that had previously aired on Fox would now have a new home on Adult Swim. The president of Fox tried selling Family Guy, but nobody wanted it. We ended up giving them to Cartoon Network basically for free. In
Wow.
2003, it became the block's
W.
top-rated program. The Griffins
W.
boosted the viewership of
For
Adult Swim and
free.
Cartoon Network as a whole by 239%.
Was zum
The
Fick?
same week Family Guy aired on Adult Swim,
Keiner
Fox
wollte
released the
Family
first 2
Guy
seasons on
und die haben das
DVD.
for free bekommen. Tschüss. Umsonst.
400,000 copies within a month were sold. The
What
reruns
the
and DVDs
fuck?
were so successful that Fox ordered 35 new episodes of Family Guy in 2004. Adult Swim officially brought the show back from the dead. With a massive increase in viewership, the Adult Swim block was expanded from 2 to 5 nights a week. Adult cartoons were about to take over. 2005 to 2015
Mashallah.
would arguably be the peak of Adult Swim. Futurama and
Okay.
Family Guy were bringing in the consistent new viewers who
Family Guy
were slowly
mochte
and
Futurama,
surely
mochte
getting
ich
into the
nie.
network's originals such as Venture Bros
Und die kenne ich leider gar nicht. Vielleicht gibt es die auch gar nicht
Man,
auf
you gotta
Deutsch.
check this out.
Oh, yeah, baby. That's a neat car she's washing. You think
Kenn
that's
ich
a
leider
straight
nicht.
six?
I think I have a straight 6.
Your sexual innuendo is
So einfach so 8-Bit-Charaktere.
Iconic long-running shows like Robot Chicken and the
Boondocks ist
Boondocks
geil
would be
und Robot
introduced.
Chicken auch geil.
I tried.
Robot Chicken ist geil.
Sorry, I just gotta crap like a bastard. I can't wait. Ah!
Syndicated classics, King of the Hill, and American Dad are running.
American Dad ist auch geil gewesen.
My do. Yeah. How could you do this to me, Puff Puff?
In 2007, they would expand their programming to 7 nights a week, even branching
Mashallah.
out of animation with the Tim and Eric Awesome Show, the Eric Andre Show, Loader Squad. Although its popularity was at an all-time high, Adult Swim still felt like this dark corner of TV that only people with a secret password were allowed to watch. These were shows you escape into when you're alone at night and with all the lights off, not with the whole family in the living room. You built relationships with the characters and became emotionally invested.
Facts.
If you were young, you
Ich
didn't
dachte,
want your
die
parents to find out
Hamster
what you were
schüttet
watching.
den
Adult
Keller
Swim
voll.
gave up-and-coming creators a chance
Auch
to
lustig
display their
gewesen.
animations to the masses. They embraced underground hip-hop and lo-fi,
Ja, Adult Swim
which
ist
at the
schon
time
krass.
had very little representation. They were also known for their iconic bumps, which were 5 to 10 second segments after the show and before commercials. Also after the commercials and before the show. These bumps took away an extra commercial or two to provide a nice transition for the viewer. Most
Wrong
networks
person.
would just run another commercial for the bag. They were designed to be relaxing, usually accompanied with a creative or funny visual and calm music. The black screen with white text became the most iconic bump style. In 2021, people were creating their own Adult Swim bumps on TikTok, and it was probably the best trend I've ever seen on that app.
Das ist
Adult
echt geil.
Swim wasn't this
Hab ich
roaring
nicht mitbekommen,
financial
aber ist eine
beast
geile
like
Idee.
Nickelodeon or Disney Channel or even its host Cartoon Network, but they were creating culture and satisfying a market that was so desperately in need of something beyond Family Guy and The Simpsons. Cartoon Network had a second boom in the 2010s with Adventure Time, Regular Show, and The Amazing World
Das
of
ist
Gumball.
geil.
While Disney
Das habe ich richtig gefeiert, Amazing World of Gumball. Aber das habe ich so selten geguckt, das lief irgendwie immer nur auf Kika bei uns damals. Irgendwie richtig früh am Morgen, eine Folge irgendwie so um 13 Uhr oder so. Da habe ich halt auch RTL 2 geguckt. Das lief halt immer parallel zu RTL 2. Aber da waren ein paar Folgen ganz geil. Adventure Time war auch ganz nice. Und das hier, dieses Sanjay und Craig heißen die, glaube ich. Das mochte ich nie so richtig, Sanjay und Craig. Aber das ist, glaube ich, auch ganz geil. Aber das habe ich nie so richtig geguckt. Was bedeutet der Name? Wie,
Disney
was
and
geht,
Nick were
Notorious
hanging on for dear
WWW?
life.
Welchen
However,
Namen meinst du?
Adult Swim
Adult
would
Swim?
get blessed with the
Weiß man nicht.
introduction of Rick and Morty in
Weiß man
2013.
nicht,
Rick and
wieso die
Morty
Adult
follows
Swim
Rick
genommen haben.
Sanchez, a cynical mad scientist, and
Auch
his timid
legendär, wie
grandson
wisst.
Morty. These
Rick
two
and Morty
split
ist
their
geil.
time between a complicated home
Auch,
life and
ich weiß nicht, ob ich es gesagt habe, aber am Anfang, ich habe Rick and Morty richtig gehasst. Also ich mochte das gar, also gehasst nicht, aber ich mochte das gar nicht. Bis ich dem eine zweite Chance gegeben habe, dann habe ich es richtig geliebt.
interdimensional space travel. There
Damals mochte
aren't
ich das gar
enough
nicht.
words to explain the imaginative and insane plot lines in this show. It's been memed heavily, and the mainstream audience definitely makes it seem a bit cringe, but it's a really great show even still to this day. Throughout its 5 seasons, Rick and Morty has measured an average viewership of 1.67 million viewers, which in the modern
Gut.
streaming era is excellent. Its influence around the world is immense, with multiple video games, tabletop games, memes, and music. But as you know, the way most of these videos end, the streaming era. The downfall of television and birth of social media
Facts.
leads to the rapid dwindling relevance of these networks. Half of the people watching this video don't have cable anymore or don't care to watch it. The others won't be purchasing HBO Max or any other streaming services to watch new or even old classic cartoons.
Wir haben auch
Adult
kein
Swim,
Kabel mehr,
Cartoon
glaube
Network,
ich.
Disney Channel, Nick, they're doing fine.
Also wir haben halt zwar immer noch
Times are different now. There are
Satellitenanschluss,
too
aber
many
halt,
streaming
wir
services,
gucken eigentlich
and
immer
too many
über
social media
Internet halt.
platforms for cartoons or networks to have much cultural impact. Children's animations are definitely more financially successful and popular. Watching them later on in life is a heavy dose of innocence and youthfulness. But the longevity and day-to-day value that adult cartoons bring is unmatched. No matter where you decide to watch them, whether they are old or new, adult cartoons are and always will be the superior animations.
Facts. Geiles Video, ne? So lange nicht geguckt, aber ein sehr geiles Video war das. Patrick CC, gucke ich mal auf seinen Kanal. 1,3 Millionen Abonnenten. Kein Wunder, dass mir das mal empfohlen wurde. Gucken wir mal. Secret Truth Behind Blaine Magic. Keine Ahnung, wer das ist. Lil Dicky Fake Rap Career. Twitch won't exist. Okay, das könnten wir uns auch mal... Wollen wir uns das mal reingucken? Okay, manche Videos von dem Typen sind auf jeden Fall geil. Ich habe... Ihr könnt das, glaube ich, gar nicht relaten, wenn ihr gar nicht NBA und so verfolgt, aber legendär. Oh mein Gott, Digga. I'm Ja Wick. I'm shooting this shit. Gönnen wir uns mal das hier. Sehr, sehr geiles Video von Patrick. Gönnen wir uns dann gleich mal Twitch. Da bin ich natürlich sehr gespannt. In 7 Jahren wird es das nicht mehr geben. Also, ich prognostiziere natürlich, und ich denke mal, vielen von euch geht es genauso. Ich denke natürlich, dass Twitch und oder halt eine andere Plattform, klar, YouTube, Bro, YouTube, du kannst halt immer alles on demand angucken. YouTube wird nicht aussterben. YouTube, ich weiß nicht, ob YouTube jetzt diesen Peak hat oder so, aber YouTube gibt es immer. So klar, du guckst vielleicht nicht jetzt YouTube, du guckst vielleicht jetzt auf Netflix irgendwas, aber auf YouTube suchst du ja deine speziellen Sachen, du hast ja deine Creator und dort hast du deinen Content. Ich glaube, bei YouTube, da gibt es jetzt keinen unendlichen Peak mehr nach oben und auch keinen Downfall. Das ist jetzt stagnieren kann man jetzt auch nicht unbedingt sagen. Das liegt halt einfach beim Content, ne? Je nachdem, wie der Trend ist, aber jeder kennt doch heutzutage YouTube. Das Ding ist halt nur, vielleicht gibt es eine andere Plattform. Oder halt, wenn YouTube irgendwie ein bisschen verlieren würde, dann halt nur, wenn andere große Plattformen Sachen auf diesen eigenen Servern nehmen. Zum Beispiel, wie das ja bei diesen Fernsehsendern ist. Pro7 nimmt alles in deren Videothek. Fox nimmt alles von YouTube runter auf deren Videothek. Damit das bei sich auf den Seiten promoten. Aber sonst sehe ich keinen Grund, wieso YouTube down gehen könnte. Bei Twitch ist halt so, viele sind halt unzufrieden damit, weil Twitch halt so einen krassen Monopol hat. Und deswegen könnte man, glaube ich, hier nochmal eine gute Konkurrenz machen, ne? Ich bezahle für YouTube Premium, ich auch. Ich auch. Habe ich doch auch YouTube Premium. Ich bezahle für YouTube Premium, ja? Weil ich keinen Bock auf Werbung habe, auch wenn ich jetzt hier am PC bin. Aber ich höre ja auch Musik damit. Ich höre Musik, ich habe ja kein Spotify, ich benutze YouTube. Also, für mich ist das okay, diese 8 Euro oder 7 Euro, ich weiß gar nicht mehr, wie teuer das ist. Ja, für mich alles cool. Ich bin gespannt, was er sagt. Ich denke nämlich, dass Twitch, klar, bei Corona haben die jetzt 2020, ne? Bei Corona ist natürlich krass, dass es hier oben ist, weil alle waren zu Hause. Jetzt haben halt ein paar Leute Twitch-mäßig gefunden, die kennen das jetzt. Und jetzt es wird nicht mehr nach unten gehen. Das wird jetzt vielleicht stagnieren und leicht wieder nach oben gehen. bis man bei dieser Zahl ist. Könnte sein, dass es nie wieder so ist. Glaube ich aber nicht. Aber ich kann mir gut vorstellen, wobei, doch, aber also ich kann mir vorstellen, dass es nicht mehr darauf geht, aber hier 70.000 US-Dollar oder 60 könnte ich mir noch sehr gut vorstellen, dass es langsam in diese Richtung halt wieder gehen wird. Weil viele Leute kennen das, es kommen neue Leute drauf, die gucken sich das an, bliblablub, ne?
2 years and they have no idea how to fix it. They are potentially losing hundreds of millions of dollars per year, laying off hundreds of employees, banning some of their most important creators,
Das ist natürlich auch
implementing
dumm.
useless features, and are constantly proving how little they know or care about the live streaming community. Twitch has been the biggest live streaming platform for the better part of a decade, but there is some competition on the horizon.
Gucken wir mal
Although
ganz
it was
kurz.
a streaming platform for the
Mixer gibt's doch gar nicht mehr. Gibt's immer noch Mixer? Ich glaube, Mixer gibt's gar nicht mehr. Gucken wir mal ganz kurz. Mixer. Livestream. Nee, Mixer gibt's gar nicht mehr. Mixer gibt es gar nicht mehr. Seit 2020, boah, ich schwöre. Hätten die noch durchgezogen, 22, seht's ja nicht. Hätten die 22 noch durchgezogen, vielleicht hätten die es dann noch überlebt. Weil 2020 und 2021 waren ja die Peak wegen Corona. Das war ja diese Corona-High-Time. Vielleicht hätten die das überlebt. Hätten die da noch durchgezogen. Hätten die da noch durchgezogen, ein Jahr, hätten die es vielleicht überlebt. YouTube natürlich. YouTube, wie gesagt, YouTube stirbt nicht aus, aber die Live-Section ist halt so eine Sache. Die ist halt Schmutz. Facebook, boah, geh mir bitte weg. TikTok, keine Ahnung. Und das kenne ich gar nicht. Achso, ist 2018, okay, ich dachte
better
schon.
part of a decade, but there is some competition on the horizon. Although it wouldn't take much for YouTube to put Twitch out of their misery, it's very likely that their collapse will come from their own self-sabotage. First and foremost, Twitch's financial stability is confusing. And although they reported $2.8 billion in revenue in 2022, it's unclear how much of that, if any, was profit. However, there are a lot of implications that suggest the company is struggling to be in the green. Twitch's 4 ways of making money are through subscribers, who pay $5 a month to get an ad-free experience, as well as other small benefits. In-app purchases, which include bits, a digital currency that users can purchase to donate to streamers. Partnerships with brands and sponsors, and of course, the number one, advertising. We don't know how many
Advertising ist
total
nur von
paid
diesen
subscribers there are on
Amazon-Sachen.
Twitch. I did find this metric from Stream Hatchet that says in April
Twitch
of
Subscription, ja. Prime und Tier 1 sind natürlich die meisten, ne? Tier 1, weil du hast ja nur einen Prime-Sub. Aber viele benutzen auch nur den Prime-Sub, so wie bei mir. Ich bin broke. Ich benutze nur meinen Prime-Sub, einen Sub. Und der Tier 2 und Tier 3 ist halt wirklich extrem slow. Weil das halt wirklich... Klar, du supportst damit am meisten, aber das nützt halt gar nichts für diese paar Emotes. Da muss man schon irgendwie mehr für bekommen. Da muss halt der Streamer irgendwas dazugeben.
Where 43% of them were Amazon Prime subs. A Prime subscriber is someone who gets an ad-free experience for $0.
Ja, deswegen machen die natürlich auch Tier 1 Sub günstiger. Damit die mäßig weniger Geld wert sind. Das ist halt so deswegen.
Already have an Amazon Prime membership because Amazon owns Twitch. Therefore, Twitch doesn't make any money on that sub. In fact, you could argue they're losing money since viewers are paying $0 and not getting ads, and Twitch has to pay creators $1 and some change for that Prime sub. Anyways, this graph indicates that in the month
Aber du
of
bezahlst ja
April,
trotzdem
Twitch
ja
had
für Prime, ne?
4.7 million paid
Also eigentlich ist ja nicht so
subscribers,
free,
times
aber trotzdem ist
$5,
halt
which is
weniger wert.
23.5 million times 12 months average, which would be about $282 million in sub revenue in 2021. But Twitch on average receives between
BitTorrent.
30 and
Ah,
50% of that money, because for affiliate streamers, Twitch takes 50% or $2.50 of the
Ist doch jetzt
$5
immer
subscriber
50-50
price,
oder
and
nicht?
for partners, they take 30% or $1.50 of the $5. So if we favor the high end of 50%, that would equal $141 million in subscriber revenue that goes to Twitch. But if Stream Hatchet's estimation of Twitch only having 4.7 million paid subscribers per month is wrong, and they actually have around 10 to 20 million paid subscribers per month, that would bring Twitch's cut between $300 and $600 million per
Wann wurde das
year.
Video
So
hochgeladen? Gucken wir nochmal ganz kurz rein. Vor 3 Wochen, okay, in 7 Jahren. Das heißt, 2030 wird es Twitch nicht mehr
people
geben,
argue that
laut ihm.
Twitch taking a 50% cut of sub
Ich
revenue
glaube
is just
natürlich,
an
dass
act of
Ende der
greed, because
20er
most of the
vielleicht noch
money
ein
comes from
Hype
advertising.
kommt,
Now,
Twitch. Außer es kommt was
141
ganz
to $600
Neues.
million is nothing to
Und jetzt
scoff
sieht es
at, but
wirklich nicht so
compared to
gut aus. Hallo, hallo, hallo. Hoffentlich bin ich wieder am Start. Test, 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 1, 2, 3. Test, 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 1, 2, 3. Der dritte Stream, den wir heute schon machen. Lachkick einfach. Einfach Lachkick. So, was geht ab? Ja, ich weiß nicht, auf einmal, ich mache das hier so down. Warte, was habe ich nochmal gemacht? Ich mache das hier klein, um zu gucken, was es auf einmal bei mir steht. Auf einmal ist bei mir hier unten. Ja, ihr könnt sehen, hier unten, wo jetzt das Grün ist, war einfach 0 Kilobytes rot. Es war einfach 0 Kilobytes rot. Das heißt halt, ich sende irgendwie nichts. Ich weiß nicht wieso, ja, Twitch hat irgendwie das Video nicht gefallen, also ich habe leider keine Ahnung, wieso das so war. Aber auf einmal 0 Kilobytes. Da dachte ich mir so, hä? Ist auf einmal mein Internet weg? Dann gucke ich in den Chat. Nee, Chat funktioniert. Das Video lädt auch noch ganz normal. Alles klappt. Internetseiten. Weiß nicht wieso. Ich habe jetzt einfach den Server auf Amsterdam gewechselt. Vielleicht lag das irgendwie an den Frankfurter Servern oder so. Ich habe jetzt einfach Amsterdam-Server gemacht. Amsterdam ist ja eher mir näher dran als Frankfurt.
According to a blog post in November 2022, where
Egal,
Twitch
gucken wir weiter.
president Dan Clancy, who is now the CEO, announced that creators who make over $100,000 in sub revenue will no longer get their 70-30 split. It will go down
Ja,
to 50-50.
kann man sagen. Wobei,
and
November
over time,
22,
all
das ist ja
creators
diese
will split the sub
Dezember-Hype.
revenue 50-50
Hype
with
hat sich geändert,
Twitch.
November
Why?
22.
Well, because it's
Ich
too
würde sagen, ja
expensive.
klar. Dort hat ja auch alles so angefangen, wo dann alles wieder gelockert wurde, hier in Deutschland zumindest. Aber November, Dezember sind ja eigentlich diese Monate, wo eigentlich alles nochmal nach oben geht, weil kalt draußen. Die Werbeagenturen ballern viel Geld rein. Also dort bekommt man persönlich eigentlich am meisten Geld, glaube ich, oder nicht? Ich würde sagen, halt so ab 23, ab Anfang des Jahres kann man sagen, ist weg. Ab diesen Anfang des Jahres würde ich
to
sagen,
run
ist alles
Twitch.
weg.
Delivering high definition, low latency, always available live video to nearly every corner of the world is expensive. Using the published rates from Amazon's Web Services Interactive Video Service, or IVS, which is essentially Twitch video, live video costs for a
Aber ja, wenn du
100
genau nimmst,
CCU
November
streamer
22
who
stimmt schon.
streams 200 hours
Ich bin
a
ja auch
month are more than
Dezember in die ersten
$1,000 per
Konzerte oder
month.
schon
Now, what
November,
they
ich
said
weiß gar
here
nicht
is
mehr.
very
Wann bin
misleading.
ich schon mal in
If
die
you wanna
ersten
start your
Konzerte
own live
gegangen?
stream
Auch
platform,
ungefähr so
you can
November,
pay for Amazon
Oktober,
IVS,
November,
or basically
Dezember.
Twitch's
Weil
infrastructure.
dann waren
The
die.
problem with Dan's statement
Aber das
here
war ja
is
noch
there's
so
simply no
wintermäßig, da
way
kann man ja noch am
Amazon is
PC
charging
chillen und so
Twitch the
alles.
same rate that anyone else would be charged for using IVS. Why wouldn't Amazon do that? Well, again, because Amazon owns Twitch. Amazon would charge me
Ja,
or you
Amazon W.
$1,000 per month to deliver HD live video to
Jeff
100
Bezos.
concurrent viewers at 200 hours a month. But they likely charge Twitch at least 50 to 90% less than that. In fact, nobody has any real idea of how much it costs to run Twitch. Obviously, you have employee compensation with thousands of employees, but more importantly, billions of dollars per year in energy costs to maintain those servers and deliver perfect quality on-demand streaming all over the world at any given moment. And although we don't know those
Facts.
costs, we can pretty safely say that taking a higher percentage from their partners is not going to cover the expenses. Now, regarding how much Twitch makes from bits, it's unclear, but I'm sure most streamers can agree that bits donations are nowhere near as common as subscribers. It was reported that Twitch generated
Ja,
$185
Bits ist
million
sehr,
from
Bits sind
in-app
sehr rar, glaube ich.
purchases.
Bits
I'm
sind
not sure if
extrem
this
rar.
includes subscribers and bits together, or if it's just bits and other microtransactions like badges, gift cards, and the loot cave. Either way, we are learning that at best, Twitch is generating roughly $750 million from subs and in-app purchases, or at worst, $185 million. Regardless of what the real numbers are, we know that without a doubt, Twitch could never survive on just paid subscribers and in-app purchases, which means that likely the $2+ billion in revenue they generated in
advertisements.
2022, pretty much it comes from advertising and brand partnerships. The
Tony der
problem with
Tiger
this is
einfach.
advertisements are destroying the viewer experience. Creators have a terrible revenue split with Twitch, which has led to a near 10% decrease in average viewership and watch time for the past 2 years.
Digga, so ist das doch. Deswegen fuckt mich das immer so ab. Warte mal, guck mal, wir gehen jetzt hier mal ganz kurz auf Twitch. Und ich sag euch, bei 5 Personen mindestens, 5 Personen bekommen wir am Anfang Werbung. Auch bei denen, die ich jetzt folge. Gucken wir GameStone Quick. Bei 5 von 7 Personen bekommen wir am Anfang Werbung. Gucken wir mal an. Warten wir ein bisschen.
Audible.
1 von
Hör die Welt
1.
fantastischer.
1 von 1.
Er hat uns
1
von
von
einer
1.
anderen Welt erzählt. Und
1
ich
von
hab fast
1.
alle
1 von 1. Zweite. 2 von... Warte. 2 von 2. 2 von 2. 2 von 2. Ich bekomme am Anfang Werbung. Geh mal hier. No way for you. 2 von 2. 3 von 3. Was geht hier ab? 3 von 3, Leute. Ich bekomme am Anfang Werbung. 3 von 3. Was geht hier ab? Chillen wir ein bisschen. Ich glaube bei Allotrix nicht. Bei ihm ist das nicht so. Drei von 4. 3 von 4. Gucken wir beim nächsten. Dona. 3 von 4. Oh, 4 von 5. Was geht ab? 4 von 5. Wir bekommen am Anfang Werbung. Nehmen wir mal einen Kanal, den wir nicht folgen. 4 von 5. Nehmen wir das so. Nur bei Allotrix bis jetzt war das nicht der Fall. Gronk. Gucken wir bei Gronk. 4 von 5. Und? Ich musste jetzt laden am Anfang ein bisschen. 4 von 5. Okay, 4 von 6. 4 von 6. 2 Leute hatten es. Wir gehen in den nächsten. Guck mal, Snap mache ich später. Okay. Live-Kanäle. 4 von 6. Ja, 4 von 6. Letzte. Der letzte wird es auch haben. Gucken wir, wo sollen wir reingehen? Machen wir größte Kanäle. Games on Quick hatten wir nochmal. eBay. Espanol. Nee, Portugiese. Nö. Englisch. Valorant. Tarek. Gucken wir bei Tarek rein. Chillen. Was geht hier ab? 5 von 7. Habe ich es euch gesagt oder habe ich es euch gesagt? Bei jedem verfickten Bastard, man bekommt Werbung. Man bekommt Werbung am Anfang. Was soll das? Ich kenne die Person nicht. Dann steht oben, ja, du guckst die Werbung, um den und den zu supporten. Nachhol, wieso soll ich den supporten? Ich kenne ihn nicht. Ich habe 5 Sekunden geguckt und bekomme direkt Werbung. Eine halbe Minute, eine Minute. Was ist das für eine Scheiße? Aber natürlich bin ich dann weg, weil mich das nicht juckt. Ich kenne die Person nicht, wieso sollte ich dafür dann einfach Werbung gucken? Das fuckt mich nämlich so sehr ab. Hab gerade 10 Minuten Lachflash geschoben, weil ich den Spiel geguckt habe. Ich gucke es mir gleich rein.
We all know how annoying ads can be. On an average Twitch stream, a viewer will get a minimum of 3 minutes of advertisements per hour. However, in late 2022, Twitch announced the rollout of the Ads Incentive Program, where they encourage streamers to run 8 to 10 minutes of
Call
ads
of
per hour.
the Arbeiter, Raid-Werbung auf Twitch. Ja, scheißegal, was für Werbung ist, scheißegal, aber dass generell Werbung ist, fuckt mich halt ab. Wenn das nach einer halben Stunde kommt, wenn das nach einer Stunde kommt, okay, dann gucke ich mir 1-2 Minuten Werbung an, aber doch nicht ganz am Anfang. Wisst ihr, ich meine, doch nicht ganz am Anfang. Ich glaube, der ist gerade bei Ohne Pixel im Chat. Der ist gerade bei Ohne Pixel drin. Das sehe ich wegen den Sub-Badges, das ist bei Ohne Pixel. Aber doch nicht am Anfang. Ihr habt es doch gesehen, bei 5 von 7 war Instant Werbung. Ja, paar Mal sogar bei mir 2. Paar Mal sind sogar 2.
This has led to a near 10% decrease in hours watched and average viewers from 2021 to 2022.
Ja.
Both of those metrics are also down in 2023 by 5%.
Ja.
Simply put, there are too many ads on Twitch, but that's a good thing for the company, right? Well, not exactly. Twitch does not have an immense amount of data on who their viewers are, because there isn't a whole lot to do on the platform to track it. Think about YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. In just a few minutes, you will be exposed to a large variety of different niches, and you are actively pressing the like button or stopping to engage with the content. The amount of specific information you give about yourself without realizing is just data that gets organized and used to sell targeted ads to you. Because of my Instagram habits, the app knows that I like men's streetwear and accessories, skateboarding, modern furniture, rap music, and golf, so they can send me ads related to those things. All Twitch knows about me is that I watch I'm Dante a lot, and that he's my favorite streamer. So they could maybe guess what I might be interested in based on what they think I'm Dante's viewers like. And because of this, most advertisers don't feel comfortable using Twitch because they don't know if they are truly selling to their target audience. Are you drinking water? When you advertise on YouTube,
nochmal ein Schlückchen Wasser, ihr wisst Bescheid. Korrekt, Digga, dass er auch uns darauf anspricht.
United States and are pregnant or just had their first child. And YouTube can run ads so that mostly viewers who fit in that category will see those ads. If Pampers went to Twitch with that target audience in mind, they would simply not know where to run the ads. The only thing that Twitch knows is that their audience is mostly men ages 13 to 35 who like video games. This eliminates a huge chunk of potential revenue because only a small amount of brands want to advertise to that audience. Energy drink brands, unhealthy snack brands, car brands, and other men's lifestyle brands love advertising on Twitch, which leads to interesting
Thanks.
sponsorships like QT Cinderella baking a cake on a live stream, but with a Manscaped partnership that says "We save balls" on the screen. To make things worse for advertisers.
Okay,
every
das
deal-
ist wirklich scheiße, aber das ist auch lustig irgendwie. Sie backen Kuchen auf einmal Manscaped. We shave balls. Aber also wenn das so eine Pornodarstellerin ist, könnte ich mir das vielleicht noch gut vorstellen, irgendwie, auch wenn die jetzt einen Kuchen macht, so wisst ich mein. Aber sonst, ja, das passt sowas von nicht zusammen.
With the ad sales team at Twitch. Back and forth emails, phone calls, contracts, a process that takes forever. But any brand or individual can
Und
simply
das
go to
W?
YouTube, click Start Advertising, and
Vor
run a
allem,
campaign without ever
meinst du,
talking
welches
to anyone.
W?
Twitch will never be a real competitor if they don't figure out a way to
Muss
get
schnell
more
Wasser
reliable
holen.
data on their users and create a programmatic ad system so brands can sell to their audience without relying on communication with a Twitch employee. And because of their inability to produce substantial revenue, they hired internal
Spul nochmal
leadership
zurück.
who says that baking a cake advertising on Twitch, which leads to interesting sponsorships like QT Cinderella.
W. Jetzt check ich das. Oh mein Gott, Digga. Das soll einfach Hoden sein, okay. Habe ich gar nicht gecheckt. Habe ich nicht gecheckt. Dachte, das ist einfach so ein W mit einer anderen Farbe, damit das irgendwie hervorsticht, okay.
Cinderella baking a cake on a live
Hab ich gar
stream,
nicht
but with a
gecheckt.
Manscaped partnership that says "We save balls" on the screen. To make things worse for advertisers, every deal has to be a long
Ja,
conversation with the ad
stimmt,
sales
W.
team at Twitch.
Hänger.
Back and forth emails, phone calls, contracts, a process that takes forever. But any brand or individual can simply go to YouTube, click Start Advertising, and run a campaign without ever talking to anyone. Twitch will never be a real competitor if they don't figure out a way to get more reliable data on their users.
Das hier
and
mit dem
create a
unten, das stört mich gar nicht. Das können die ruhig die ganze Zeit machen. Wenn ich das instant am Anfang bekomme, ist das egal, aber ich will doch den Stream gucken, wisst ihr, ich meine? Das hat mich halt abgefuckt bei diesen Streams, die wir jetzt
programmatic
reingezogen
ad
haben.
system so brands can sell to their audience without relying on communication with a Twitch employee. And because of their inability to produce substantial revenue, they hired internal leadership who would shift the focus away from creators and towards driving profits. The senior vice president of global creators, Constance Knight, created a new initiative: cut costs, cut costs, cut costs. Every decision over the course of her tenure was fully based on how it was going to increase company profits, which isn't necessarily her position since she is the head of global creators. Therefore, the needs of creators were constantly being ignored. In one specific example, Knight said that burnout was not a valid reason for creators to not meet contractual obligations. If you don't know, most of Twitch's top creators have contracts directly with the platform where they're being paid essentially a salary or hourly rate to stream exclusively on the platform.
Okay, heftig.
These contracts require them to stream anywhere from 70 to 100 hours per month, which is roughly 3 hours per day or 4 hours per day if you want the weekends off.
Ist ja
But the
unser,
VP was
ist,
not
das
letting
könnte ich
creators
auch
get
haben.
burnout or
Wieso
basically
habe
them
ich keinen
being
Vertrag mit denen?
unmotivated
Das sind
to
doch
stream
ungefähr meine
as a valid
Streamzeiten.
excuse to not meet their monthly stream
Oder nicht?
requirements.
Das könnte ich doch
Led
auch
to
machen.
Twitch employees feeling
Wieso
like
haben die
the
mir
company
keinen
was
Vertrag
losing its
gegeben, die
way?
Arschlöcher?
12 Twitch employees had gone to HR or logged complaints with their superiors overnight. 5 had left the company citing Knight as a reason. Now, some of you watching could never be convinced that sitting at a computer and playing video games could become a stressful or an annoying job in any way, shape, or
Voll
form.
überschnittlich.
But at the end of the day,
Das
it still is a
stimmt.
job.
Ja,
and
das stimmt
anyone can
natürlich
burn
auch, ne?
out from any job that they do every single day for years. Another previous Twitch employee took to YouTube to state how they feel about the company.
Twitch doesn't care about creators. Twitch cares about looking like they care about creators. Everything Twitch has done for the last 4 years has been with the goal of feeling like they understand and care.
Ja,
Although this
der
could
hat
seem
recht auf
like an
jeden Fall.
employee who is just upset about being fired, Twitch has shown time and time again that no matter how large of a creator you are, they will take you down, even
Wie
at your
gesagt, ne?
highest moment.
Was ist heute
Kai
nochmal für ein Tag?
Cenat,
Heute ist
a
Donnerstag,
creator
ne?
who only just started streaming in February of 2021,
Ab
dominated
Samstag,
Twitch
bei,
in all of 2022.
ab Sonntag,
He reached the
ab
very
Sonntag
rare
machen wir auf jeden Fall
milestone
mit The Last of Us
100,000
weiter.
subscribers,
Ich werde die
which
nächsten
made him
Tage
the
dann
number
einfach
one most
bisschen
subscribed
CS oder so
creator
zocken,
at
irgendwie
that
so
time.
mit
This
den Jungs
prompted him
was
to do
machen.
a subathon,
Oder Mario
which was
Kart.
a
Mario Kart, wieso nicht? Ich baller mal wieder Mario Mario Kart rein. Ich hatte auch schon lange Lust. Ich habe nämlich auch heute ein Video von Troy gesehen. Es gibt so einen neuen Mario Kart Mod. Da ist Mario Kart Midnight mit über 200 neuen Strecken. Über 200 neue Strecken, die nicht in Custom Tracks drin sind. Über 200 neue Mario Kart Strecken in diesem Mario Kart Midnight Teil. Ich kann ja mal in Discord nachfragen, ob jemand Bock hat, mit mir das dann zu spielen. Das zocken auch einige online, warten. Aber das ist halt nicht wie, also es ist natürlich wie Custom Tracks, ein Modpack, aber da sind Strecken drin, die nicht in Custom Tracks drin sind, weil die das nicht reingeschafft haben, weil Mr. Bean keine Lust drauf hatte. Deswegen, Song Quest Safe auch, natürlich oldschool. Aber ich denke, ich werde das so wie jetzt behalten, dass ich hier das so wie jetzt habe. Nur das dann halt oben links. Das kommt, ich werde nicht zu dem alten Overlay zurückgreifen, auch wenn ich das hier habe. Hier. Auch wenn ich das alte Overlay hier theoretisch habe. Mit dem Stream und so, aber ich werde einfach das behalten, was ich jetzt auch habe. Einfach das jetzt so mein Standard-Overlay ist. Zwar sehr lazy gemacht und so, aber ich glaube, das passt. Ich werde dann halt einfach den Chat ein bisschen kleiner machen oder meine Cam irgendwo anders verschieben. Ja.
It was reported that he earned Twitch $10 million, while Kai only received a $2 million payout. These numbers were false, and Kai did not appreciate the narrative.
Twitch made 15 to 20 million dollars on Kai Cenat.
15 bis 20.
2 million back to the bro, where y'all getting these numbers from? Where are these numbers coming from? Because now it's a narrative that I'm just a black man who's getting used for millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Kai
A
breaking
million.
huge
Of 30,
news,
30,
covered by
30, 30.
publications like
Bitch, I'm getting to
BBC
study.
and Bloomberg, and most of us would assume that Twitch would do anything to boost Kai up. After all, he made history on their platform. At the very least, they would try to use this amazing moment to show the world what wonderful opportunities there are for creators on Twitch. They could squeeze out more press with Kai and do campaigns to get more people or brands interested in live streaming. But no, instead, they sent him a $100 pair of sneakers and banned him from their platform.
It better be a contract and then oh! Congratulations, Kai, on your huge accomplishment. We are so proud of you, Laura, Anna, and all of your friends at Twitch.
Ist doch süß. Also sieht schon ass aus, der Schuh, ich bin
Unfortunately, there was
ehrlich.
no contract in that package. Twitch did not see enough value in Kai to offer him a streaming contract. Or they are making a very strategic business move. Twitch is very top heavy, meaning the top creators are making all of the money. Only 5% of Twitch streamers made over $1,000 in 2021, and 50% of all of their revenue comes from 1% of their creators.
Krasser
Kai
Scheiß.
became a 1%er without getting an exclusive
Hätte ich nicht
contract,
gedacht.
which means Twitch is profiting immensely off him. It seems like they are not giving him a paid contract because they don't think he will leave. His largest audience and main financial vehicle is on Twitch, and if it was up to them, they wouldn't give streamers contracts to begin with. They want to get to a point where they aren't as reliant on the top 1% of creators. So if someone leaves the platform, they will be just
Was?
fine, reliant on the top 1%.
Ich kenne jetzt keinen, aber ESL Dota, Bruder? Hat doch diesen eBay, den haben wir ja gerade gesehen. Ist halt irgendwie so ein Spanier. Das ist halt anders, ne, Spanier. Aber heftig, Bruder. ESL Motherfucking Dota ist auf Platz 5. Bruder, gönn ich den gar nicht. Ich hasse ja Dota, weil ich bin ja Counter-Strike-Spieler, deswegen alle Counter-Strike-Spieler hassen Dota. Das ist halt so, ich hasse Dota so krass. Dota ist halt gefühlt 24/7. Ach so, okay.
YouTube wouldn't be hurting financially. Eventually those creators will be replaced, but Twitch 1%ers can't be
Dota
replaced as
League.
quickly.
Bruder,
or as
beides
easily.
Schmutz,
Maybe
beides
Kai
Schmutz,
is a
beides
transitional
Schmutz.
point
Lieber
for Twitch
CS
as a
spielen,
company
lieber
to
CS.
see if they can keep
Mag ich viel mehr.
1%
Hast du es mir gesagt.
talent
Wir können mal
without
ein Dota
paying them
zocken,
additional
Bro. Dario,
money.
lass
Just a
mal
few short
Dota
weeks
zocken.
after they sent him the
Okay, ich
sneakers,
habe das mal
Kai
ausprobiert. Du musst mir
announced
das
he
mal
was banned
beibringen.
from
Lass
the
mal Dota
platform
vielleicht
on
zocken.
April 17th.
Wenn du sagst,
How
das ist
could
so
they
geil,
possibly
vielleicht
ban the
entdecke ich eine
number one
neue Liebe in
creator on
Dota
the
oder
site?
so.
Nobody knew the reason
Ich habe ja
why,
nichts
but it
dagegen. Ich bin ja
prompted
offen für so
support
neue
from people
Games und
like Kyrie
alles.
Irving and Nicki
Wenn mein
Minaj.
PC das
We later
schafft.
found out that Twitch told Kai it was from a GTA clip where he promoted simulated sexual activity. This was the clip.
Come on. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh my God! My boss!
He pretended like he was receiving services from a fake woman in a video game. Meanwhile, there's a ton of real
Bruder, das
borderline
check ich halt
sexual
wirklich
activity
nicht.
on that website,
Aber auch nicht
let
nur
alone
auf Hot Tub,
simulated.
Bruder.
Twitch is just reminding
Ich
him
verstehe
that
das wirklich
he,
gar
no
nicht.
matter how
PC
big he
ist
is,
wirklich,
will
bei
not
mir
be
ist
able to
at the
break the
limit.
rules. and everyone knows Twitch's terms of service are extremely unclear. In 2019, Brazilian Twitch streamer Gabriel Baptista received a suspension because he showed a Pink Floyd poster during his broadcast. Faria was banned for wearing gym clothes that Twitch claimed looked like lingerie. Deller was banned for smashing a keyboard over his head. And Dr. Disrespect
Wir gucken mal ganz kurz nochmal, was für alles hier am Start sind. Wir gucken nochmal ganz kurz zurück.
will not be able to break the rule. Twitch is just reminding him that he, no matter how big he is, will not be able to break the rules. And everyone knows.
Wieso wird jetzt nochmal Kai Cenat gebannt? Ich dachte wegen diesen Sneakern, weil er von dieser anderen Seite Kick, oder wie die heißt, Kick Textil Discount, hat er Sneaker bekommen und ist dann ausgeflippt. Und deswegen wird er hier gebannt. Check ich nicht.
Service are extremely unclear. In 2019, Brazilian Twitch streamer Gabriel Baptista received a suspension because he showed a Pink Floyd poster during.
Er wurde wegen dem Poster gebannt. Oder wenn man da ein bisschen Body sehen kann. Oben, die Ritze vom Gött. What the fuck? Okay.
Faria was banned for
because workout clothes and showing midriff lingre. Okay, cool. Digga, dafür wurde sie gebannt? Heftiger Scheiß.
For wearing gym clothes that Twitch claimed looked like lingerie. Deller was banned for smashing a keyboard over his head. And Dr. Disrespect
Das könnte ich auch sein, dass ich irgendwas kaputt machen und dafür gebannt werde.
was banned for, well, they never told him why. Sadly, Kai's ban is just one.
Dr. Disrespect, man checkt auch bis heute nicht, wieso gebannt wurde. Absolute Legende, Dr. Disrespect.
And will continue to in the future. So with Twitch continuously making the wrong decisions when it comes to profits, employees, and creators, is competition a real threat to their company? Recently, the live streaming platform Kick has made some noise after their $30 million plus deal where they exclusively acquired Aiden Ross. Kick works and looks exactly almost like Twitch. The main difference is that they have a much more lenient terms of service. Streamers can gamble, say and do just about anything they want without getting banned, and the biggest thing is that they are offering creators a 95% cut.
Moin ist sogar back auf Twitch, offiziell legal. Oh, krass. Freut mich. Das habe ich jetzt letztens irgendwo auch gesehen. Ich weiß nicht mehr bei welchem Kanal, ich glaube, das war ein Deutscher. Oder kann auch sein Ami. Dass dieser Aiden Ross hat auf Kick den Super Bowl gerestreamt, 1:1. Das heißt, du konntest auf seinem Kanal einen Super Bowl angucken. Und das haben die auch so einfach durchgewunken. Heftig.
Which would be about $2,000 on Twitch. However, I don't think this is going to be enough to really compete with Twitch. Think about all of the problems I highlighted in this video. Kick is going to have to deal with all of those same problems. But more importantly, with advertisers, they will be targeting the same niche as Twitch, but with less censorship and more risque content.
Sollen wir auch mal auf Kick streamen, Kappa? Einmal kurz auf Kick rüber, ein bisschen in den Stinkeladen reingehen. Boah, ey, ich schwör, Kick Textil-Account ist verdammt immer so schmutzig. Okay, das ist natürlich ansprechend für viele.
Who could use that money to fund Twitch. Now, YouTube Gaming, or their live streaming sector, could very well be a threat. The worst part about YouTube is that the live streaming experience is just not as good. The chat is chaotic and hard to read. You can't look at chat logs, which makes it really hard to moderate. The raid feature is terrible. The discovery page for live streamers actually looks like they don't update it. And they lack many of the small features that make Twitch streaming more dynamic and more fun. Yet even with all of those downsides, YouTube still holds nearly 15% market share in the live streaming space.
Hätte ich nicht gedacht.
So why is YouTube a threat? It's very simple. YouTube has 2.5 billion monthly active users, compared to Twitch's 140 million. YouTube has a strong and reliable ad revenue system, which generated $29 billion last year. Plus, they are offering 70-30 splits for streamers. And if you build a following up as a streamer on YouTube, you now have a whole YouTube channel that you can post regular videos on. You just built yourself 2 assets at one time. Most Twitch streamers have to post clips of their streams on YouTube in order to grow. And even still, the translation is not that great, and they end up being more popular on YouTube. If YouTube just got their live streaming page to operate exactly like Twitch or Kick, which wouldn't really be that hard for them, it wouldn't make any sense for small streamers to use Twitch. 1% streamers like Hassan and XQC wouldn't immediately jump ship, or maybe never because they already have a huge following. At the same time, everybody has a price. Nobody thought Ludwig would switch platforms, but he did. So why hasn't YouTube tried to take over? Especially since I claim it'll be so easy for them. Maybe they just don't see live streaming as a worthwhile business investment. Think about everything I mentioned in this video. All the hurdles, all the expenses, all the bans,
Offiziell legal?
moderation,
Naja,
discoverability
eigentlich ist ja
issues,
illegal, aber
creator
das hat auf,
contracts, advertiser
das darfst du auch
uncertainty.
eigentlich gar nicht auf
Maybe
Twitch,
YouTube thinks that
auf
live
Kick
streaming
machen,
will
aber weil er
never
der
be as
größte ist, haben sie
profitable
einfach
as
so
video on
durchgewunken.
demand, film, sports entertainment, and music streaming. Maybe live streaming will always be considered a niche subgenre of the entertainment industry. Until YouTube sees a bar packed full of people paying a $10 cover to watch Hassan debate Aiden Ross or Kai Cenat and 21 Savage react to Drake memes, they probably won't even bother. So what should Twitch do? Well, they definitely need to figure out a middle ground.
Was? Ja, das war so.
They need advertisers to pay the bills, and we as viewers understand that. Maybe a feature could be implemented that allows viewers to skip an ad or two.
Es
just
gibt
in
ja
case
dieses
they pop
Turbo
up
oder
at a
nicht, Twitch
crucial
Turbo,
time on
das ist so
stream.
verfickt teuer, das
Maybe
kostet
even
glaube ich
feature
12
that allows
Euro im
viewers to
Monat.
watch ads
Dann
for
bekommst du
a
gar keine
reward,
Werbung mehr.
or uninterrupted ad time when there's some
Nein,
downtime in somebody's
sag
stream.
nochmal, wer
Kinda
Aiden
like how
Ross
mobile games
streamt
will
ja auf
allow you.
Kick schon seit ein paar Monaten. Und als, halt, ich weiß nicht, wann war der Super Bowl dieses Jahr? War das im Februar oder März? Irgendwie da hat er das halt auf Kick 1:1 gerestreamt, halt mit seiner Reaktion drauf. Und eigentlich darfst du das ja nicht, ne? Ist natürlich illegal, wenn du das restreamst. Du kannst, die NFL möchte das ja auch gar nicht und so. Und der hat es halt trotzdem auf Kick gemacht. Und in Terms of Service steht auch, dass du es eigentlich nicht machen darfst, aber er hat es trotzdem gemacht und es wurde halt einfach so durchgewunken und erlaubt. Und bis jetzt hat halt Kick nichts dagegen gemacht und die NFL hat auch noch nicht geklagt oder so. Aber es könnte vielleicht passieren. Man weiß nicht.
Exchange personal survey information for less ads. It's invasive, but hey, they're gonna try to do that anyway. And after they improve their ad system, just keep the 70-30 revenue split with all creators, big or small. Most platforms provide a better split than that, so that's the least they can do. Also, more clarity and consistency when it comes to streamer bans seems like a very fair ask. Just tell people why they were banned, in detail. Timestamp it, provide a clip. Every single time someone is banned, it should be the same process. Most importantly, they need to improve discoverability for small/medium-sized creators. Twitch streamers relying on YouTube or TikTok to gain a following is absolutely ludicrous. Twitch is way too reliant on the 1%ers, and they're way too reliant on other platforms. Ultimately, I want to see
Twitch ist halt die geilste Plattform, um halt Instant Interaktion mit Leuten zu haben, ne? Das ist halt am geilsten.
In terms of their entertainment value and ability to hold an audience for hours on end. But if they don't make these critical improvements and YouTube just decides to invest $1 billion into making YouTube gaming a fierce competitor,
Ich schwör, wenn ich jetzt hier so Shroud am Zocken sehe, wie er hier WoW zockt, ich habe so hardcore Bock auf Blue Protocol, wenn das rauskommt. Digga, ich freue mich da schon so sehr drauf. Da werde ich auf jeden Fall kein Leben mehr haben, wenn das rauskommen wird und es gut sein wird. Ich werde da, glaube ich, so durchsuchten. Ja, ich bin gespannt, ne? War auf jeden Fall wieder ein geiles Video. Ich bin gespannt. Ich glaube, das war so das Video, was ich gesehen habe. Auch von ihm. Aber ich bin mir nicht ganz sicher. Ich bin mir nicht 100% sicher. Ich bin auf jeden Fall gespannt, ne? Das muss auf jeden Fall halt krasse Konkurrenz auftauchen. Ja, dass mit Twitch konkurrieren kann. Kick, schon mal ein guter Anfang. Dass YouTube jetzt, okay, YouTube macht ja eh nichts, aber YouTube ist halt immer theoretisch da. Die haben anscheinend diesen Ludwig da abgekauft, den ich jetzt auch nicht persönlich kenne oder geguckt habe. Weil ich glaube, ein Video habe ich geguckt von ihm. Aber das war's. Ja, ich bin gespannt. So, ist jetzt schon 1:30. Shit, Digga. Die Videos gingen echt lange. Aber waren auch gute Videos. Ich bin ehrlich, von dem Typen, der hat gute Videos gemacht. Wir gehen jetzt direkt in Korra rein. Es kommt, okay, 3 Folgen sind noch von Staffel 3. Aber wir sind jetzt fast am Ende. Korra wurde ja gekidnappt. Einfach vergiften. Okay, das Staffelfinale und die Folge von der nächsten Staffel werden wir dann auf jeden Fall morgen sehen. Bei einem ja, 2 krasse Folgen werden wir dann morgen sehen. Ey, euch allen einen schönen Abend. Vielen Dank fürs Vorbeigucken, wie immer. Wir sehen uns dann, ja, heute Abend, würde ich sagen. Schlaft gut. Und Dankeschön fürs Dabeisein, ne? Hat heute Spaß gemacht. Wir werden dann noch, denke ich mal, morgen wieder anfangen, was zu zocken.